We're live. Alex, how are you, brother?
I'm still in my gym jams, and I thought I'd go a bit commando today because you're an ex-commando. So this is funny. I haven't worn this T-shirt for many years. I've got like I run boot camps now, and I when I came out of the army, never wanted to wear combats ever again. But obviously, wearing a boot camp, you want to have that kind of feel. So I'm putting on my uniform.
I would just like to extend my gratitude to the British military for providing me with an excellent set of gardening clothes that you can wear on the building site as well.
Did you take an NBC suit home?
No, I left all in a bit of a rush, mate. With what's going on in the world at the minute, I wish I brought a bloody machine gun home, mate, to be honest. And
it's funny, I used to live in Aldershot, well, I still do. And one of my friends actually did, it was in the paper. Associates, he nicked a SA-80. It was very naughty.
I had one of my oppos that I serve with was planning, or let's just say it was an
idea. What's an oppo for those of you? So NBC suit is a nuclear, biological, chemical warfare suit. We can go off on one with all these abbreviations. What's an oppo, Chris? For the people who don't know,
it's your mate in the military. It just means mates. My Bezzy oppo is your best mate. Oppos are the guys you work with. You're very good to jump in and explain the acronyms or whatever we're using there, because a lot of military guys still talking that parlance.
Roger, copy that. Hey, what? Roger? My name's not Roger.
And it becomes hard though, because when you're a podcast host, you learn to recognise when your guest is talking in terms that 80% of the viewers won't understand, but it's the 20% that are like, let him talk, stop asking him to explain things. And it's like, no, you don't understand. This isn't just for you. This is for the whole of the public. And talking about, I don't know, sippers and wets and brews and all this sort of stuff.
See, you're what we call a bootneck. See, you chose the wrong cap, mate. Not cap, the beret. I mean, there's only one beret to wear. It's a red one, a maroon one.
My dad always taught me, be second best, son.
Well, at least you know. It's funny. It's funny. I've got two great PTIs. So PTI is a personal training and physical training instructor. I think it's called All Arms now. So they're the guys that keep everyone fit. I've got them for my boot camp now, but there's a problem. They're both bloody bootnecks. I've got three actually. I've just got an ex-para as well. So we've
too hard, mate. No, they're too hard and too handsome. This is our problem.
Do you know what though? Funny, there's a rivalry between paras and Marines, and but still, at the end of the day, we're both, on the same team ultimately, and there's a lot of respect. It's funny though, because I'm a million miles away from anything being a soldier now. Although I've done some of that stuff. It's some of that stuff. Young, dumb, and full of something. I'm going to make the world a better place. I've got my gun. I'm going to go and show these bad guys what's right and what's wrong, because might makes right. Yeah, does it? Yeah, and like I actually consider myself a plastic paratrooper. I joined in '93. Bloody hell! I was really keen. I was a TA. I wasn't. I did something called an S-type, which I was attached to a regular battalion, but I was only what we call Saturdays and Sundays, territorial. Saying that, all my mates, they went Afghanistan, Iraq, Sierra Leone.
Don't say only, mate. Come on. Everybody in the British forces serves a role, and it's within the forces, it's to be respected, because I couldn't do my job if it wasn't for you, and you couldn't do yours if it wasn't for me.
Totally get that. It's like, who's more important in a big corporation, the toilet cleaner or the powerful CEO at the top of the building? You need everyone. You need the toilet cleaner. So, and I'm not trying to say that we were toilet cleaners, because we weren't, but I have had so much denigration. You know, you were in the Boy Scouts, you weren't a paratrooper, you never saw war. Yeah, well, no, you're right there. And actually, I'm very lucky, because although there's part of me that's proud to have been a member of the Parachute Regiment, I'm very lucky that I haven't actually seen war. Not firsthand. I mean, we're seeing war right now. We're seeing war every single day. I'm a hippie now. And tell me about you, though, for my fans. Who is christhrall?
Okay. First of all, right, my girlfriend is going to pull you up now, right?
Girlfriend? What's his name?
Stan, right? Stan would say that my surname is Thrall, right?
Thrall.
I'm not bothered. People can call me whatever they want, including dickhead, and that's.
I like it. Where does Thrall come from?
Yeah. So this is interesting, and this explains my rebellious nature, Alex. Thrall was the lower caste of the Viking era.
Oh.
Okay? So Viking was the period in Scandinavian history where they went sailing to other lands. A lot of it was trade. It was innocent. Some of it was the thingying and the pillaging, right? We were the lower caste, so we were like the servant culture. Obviously, not all thralls were Scandinavians. Some were slaves that were robbed from other, countries and forced into all kinds of probably not nice.
Have you traced your ancestry back to actually?
Yes. I did it tentatively. We're talking the early days of the internet. I found a website that gave me my family history. I think my dad's got a little write up in his house. We actually have a coach.
So you were you weren't warriors then? You were like
Alex, you're asking me, what am I going to say to that? Of course we were. We were up there giving it bean.
No, but you were the guys, you were like, the one in 300. Lift your shield up. People don't know what I'm talking about. 300, if you weren't a proper warrior, you had to go and serve the soup at the kitchen. Or were you at the front line?
There's a lot about that.
Cutting heads off.
There's that whole Spartan thing, right? I know we look at them as the ultimate warriors, and I wouldn't take that away from them, but they also massively were into their little boys.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to chuck a spanner out there.
No, not at all. Listen, I know all about that. How do you judge a nation, though? I mean, Romans used to throw Christians to lions. We used to have paedophilia was rife in history, and it wasn't frowned upon. I mean, to me, it's intrinsically wrong. There's so many things we do, and I'm going to quote a bit of Jesus here. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. We do things today that I'm like, people don't realise, I think is horrendous. I'm not a vegan. I'm a flexitarian. I'm okay to kill the meat I want to eat, but the decadence of the meat industry, what it's doing to those poor animals, and also look at it on a purely physical level. I'm taking on an energy of something that's suffered, and that energy is, I believe, and science is starting to catch up and correlate from what I've studied. That's what's causing the diseases in our body. So, so long story short, I think killing meat is horrible and horrendous. Maybe in another 100 years, and I still eat it. What a hypocrite. If I have to survive. So we do things which it takes a bit of time for us to actually assimilate and work into our psyche and our conscious. This isn't the way to be. I mean, I was just watching I was trying to understand civil war last night because I've been arguing with one of my brothers. And I was thinking, I'm a lover, but you can see how brothers can fight each other because of what they believe in. I was looking at the American Civil War, and that ultimately that was about the Union and well, look what's going on now. Black Lives Matter. I'm not going to go into that, but what people thought, the South thought it was okay to have slaves. I'm sure that it wasn't so much about freeing the slaves, but they made it about freeing the slaves. I mean, the North and the South were both benefiting, but the North were like, oh, right, okay, this isn't really good. We shouldn't really be doing this. And England and Europe, we were going to come in and start helping the South because the North of America had put a blockade on Europe. So all of the plantations that were doing trade with Europe, they weren't doing trade. And Europe was like, hang on a minute, we want our trade from the South. So they were going to come in. But when the North decided to make it about, oh no, it's about human rights here. You know, we shouldn't. That was like that swayed Europe to, we can't really go in there because it's not really that great, is it? We're not going to look that good. So ultimately, people, they make choices in life on what other people think, not on what really is right. So Europe, hang on. Yeah, of course we shouldn't support slave trade, but it's not about the slave trade at the moment. So, but we're going to support South America to beat North America because then we can get our trade. North America, no, it's about slave trade. Oh yeah, we better not touch that. When what was the Queen doing at that time with young people and this kids, under children labour. It was the horrendous rights of children in our country. We're the most hypocritical country in the world. Yeah, I think we're good. We're evolving. We are all evolving. But ultimately, look at me with eating meat. I actually bless my meat now before I eat it. If I'm conscious about before I eat the meat, I'm like, has it suffered? Obviously anything that's killed is going to suffer somewhat, but as long as it's killed quickly and humanely, and there's going to be arguments there from the vegans there having a go at me. How can it be humane to kill something? But look, by the mere act of breathing, we're killing now. Our immune system's killing organisms. When do we consider it sentient, intelligent life? I mean, all these, just by us walking on a blade of grass. I'm sure the plants, if you actually put, I've seen these experiments where they put, what do you call it? My English isn't fantastic. Diodes and computers, and the plant, you're about to kill it, and the plant is going like this. I don't want to get eaten. I don't want to get killed. So it's saying it has an intelligence.
I'd love to talk to you, Alex, about our evolution, because it's complete. As I'm always saying, sorry for the boredom factor, folks, but everything you have been taught is a lie. Everything. Your history, your diet, human relationships.
3 meals a day.
What's that?
3 square meals a day.
Oh, God, and all that nonsense as well, It's really simple. We were hunter-gatherers. And when I say hunter-gatherer, I actually mean gatherers for the best part of at least 500,000 years. We don't really understand our history, but remember, we evolved. We've actually been here in some form since the beginning of time, right? Through that massive, incomprehensible time we've been on this planet, we ate plants and we ate grubs because we went like this. We weren't clever enough to catch rabbits and stuff for this huge amount of our evolution, right? If this is, sorry, I'm getting my hands in camera. If this is our evolution, this little tiny bit here is human history, what we can record. This we went eating plants and bugs. And if we're clever enough, we might be able to scoop a fish out of the stream. We might catch a diet, you know, rabbit who's been injured, and okay. And then of course we learned to scrape the meat from bones from animal kills and stuff. So this notion that we should eat meat like in slabs is just absolute nonsense. And what it does, it makes your body acidic. And if you're acidic, you cannot be an enlightened individual, because your physio, biological, social chemistry simply doesn't work. I'm sorry. I don't
No, don't be sorry. You're preaching to the converted. I'm glad that I totally agree.
You know,
I totally agree. So
I'd like to make one more point, Alex. As I told you, I just come back from a weekend at my friend's farm. Right, 2 beautiful deer jumped across the road in front of me, and there was a time, without a question of doubt, like if I'd have hit one of those deer, which I obviously didn't, I'd have chucked it in the boot, right? Or I would, if I've had a rifle, I would have like thought meat, you know, beautiful deer meat. I mean, it is, game meat is really tasty, right? I got to the point now where it's different in my head. That killing.
Do you eat meat now?
Say again.
Do you eat meat?
I try to do what our hunter-gatherers did, because I live the alkaline diet. I've done it 17 years, never been sick in 17 years. Don't have to worry about all this stuff that's going on at the minute. Doesn't affect my life because I don't get sick, right? That said, I eat. The whole premise of keeping your body at 7.25 pH, which is an average, it can fluctuate. That doesn't matter. Your body's clever enough to offset bits of acid here and there. It comes out in your urine, blah, 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 right? That said, alkaline diet isn't about eating any specific thing. It's about keeping yourself alkaline. Best way to do it, plants, green plants is chlorophyll from the sun, energy. That means you can eat meat. You can actually eat meat as just a normal meat diet. So long as your plate of veg is 2/3 and your meat and your starch, which is your acidifying ingredients, is 1/3, you will always stay alkaline.
You look fantastic for 70.
Oh, mate, yeah.
I mean, it's the secret. It's no sugar and no meat.
I'm actually 110. I'm like Yoda. But no, this is so for me, it's not about the eating meat. I don't like the factory farming thing. I know you don't. It's not right. It is just something about that is so evil. Sorry, I don't want to make this like I am aware.
No, I hear you. No, I agree with you. It's like milk. Milk's good for your teeth and bones. You need the calcium.
What I'm saying, Alex, is the whole vegan thing, again, has been co-opted into a movement that's then thrown back at the people and used as a method of control, right? It never was about eat this, do that. It's about eating what our ancestors ate for 1 million years. It's that simple, right? It's that simple. There's no morals in that. It's what we evolved to be. You know, you don't go up to a bear and criticize it for eating a salmon. It's what that animal has evolved to be. We are no different. What we should have in our diet when we go to the supermarket is, oh, honey, grab a box of those crickets and those mealworms or the Wichita. You know, this is what we would have eaten. I've eaten Wichita grubs in the jungle.
When I was a squaddy, I was like, right, yeah, tough. You've got to show how tough you are. I remember eating a worm in just an exercise. Yeah, it's really delicious. Poor little worm. I bless you, worm. I've had crickets as well. The last time I had a cricket, it was a chocolate-covered cricket. Isn't that's a bit not right, is it? Is it? I was doing Celeb Come Dine, and mine was my most expensive. I had a crawling salad with mealworms, chili mealworms, with basically a like a chicken Caesar salad without chicken, but mealworms instead. And I had chocolate-covered scorpions and crickets for dessert. Nobody wanted to eat them.
It's because we've become a species of absolute pussies, mate. That's why. Brainwashed.
I'm sure you've been you travelled the world. You've been to the Orient.
Many times, lived there.
Yeah, and you will go through the markets. All of the staple of a lot of their protein is insects.
Yeah.
You go and they're quite tasty.
Tarantulas.
Yeah.
They're all right. Tastes like an egg, actually, the back of a tarantula.
And once it's cooked, what's that thing? I'm a celebrity, get me out of it. I don't understand why they're all complaining about if they're not eating, I'd be eating anything.
Tell us about Celebrity Come Dine With Me, because as everybody knows, I don't watch mainstream television. I'm not interested in celebrity and all this stuff. It makes me just makes me feel sick. But one of the rare treats I allow myself, my girlfriend loves food programs, is we will sit down and watch Celebrity Come Dine With Me. And I also like the social dynamic, you know, that these people can, like, they're cracking on in one meal, next thing they all hate each other or they all hate one person. But what's it like being on a program like that?
Tough, because I was on with Freddy Krueger, Robert England, was it Alex England? Is it Robert England?
Yeah.
Sally Morgan and another, what do you call it, the wag, big girl, a bit like Katie Price star, I can't think of her name.
I wouldn't know who they are anyway.
No,
I know the Freddy Krueger because I used to watch that sort of thing back 20 years ago.
I found it quite hard because they're like, at the time, when I was doing that celebrity, and I was getting high on it regularly. I wasn't addicted to the crack pipe. Never tried crack, but I've tried the fame pipe. Oh, fame, serotonin, dopamine. Look at me, everyone loves me. I'm amazing. Wow, yeah, this is great. Give me some more. Oh, it's horrible. I don't like it. Give me some more. Let's do something a little bit more desperate. You know, you got the analogy of someone who will go and sell their kids toys or sell their kid for a hit of smack or crack. You know, I can see that how it is with celebrity. So looking back on it, it wasn't pleasant. I mean, I was like a kid. I've always said my celebrity years, when I did the whole Big Brother ex-wife thing, that's not the best way to describe that ex-wife thing. I call it the LSD years. I wasn't taking LSD, but it was like, you imagine you're everywhere. It's your whole world's upside down. And I always wanted to be famous. Loved it. It's seducing. It's like, it's a drug. But I didn't want to be celebrated for my sex life. And yeah, that's not fun. That's not nice. So there was some negative stuff there. So when I even went into Big Brother, I didn't even want to go into Big Brother for the first time. I was like, don't want to do this. Don't want to be famous for being famous. I had like a mind man who trained me for my fights to get my head calm, and not NLP or hypnosis. He did other sort of stuff similar. Alex, I think you should go in there. I think not to necessarily win the show. I mean, that'd be a bonus, but just to show people the real you. So the day before I had the Big Brother experience, I wasn't going to go in. I had this chat with him. He said, look, you should go in. So I went in to show people the real me. Because I remember to see these magazines like OK and stuff, and I saw my ex-wife on it, and my girlfriend back then would say, why? I would say, why are you reading these magazines? What a load of, you know, I was going to say something rude. What a load of that's not, you know. And then 6 months later, I'm in all the magazines. It's you get very seduced by that whole world. But I went into it innocent. I didn't even know what a paparazzi was. When I went into the Big Brother house, I was very innocent to it all. I didn't really, naive, stupid. And then guess what? I come out, and then I've got a bit of a taste of it. This is quite nice. I mean, I was hated to start with. It was horrible. But then I was really hated because of all the negative association with my ex-wife. Then obviously I was 40-1 odds to win to go into that house, and I went into booze. I remember having a cage fight, a professional cage fight just before the show, and I got punched on the way to the cage because of my association with Kate. People hated me, and
Mate, why did they hate you so? I didn't get this.
Because of the media. The media. It was just I was painted. I was judged, juried, and hanged before I'd even set foot in the door. People had and I wasn't the most adept at handling the media. Yeah, and the media can twist everything you say, and that happened to me. I just got eaten alive. And who was my coach back then to guide me in all of this? My ex-wife, who it's not about blame. I'm not blaming, but I was 100% manipulated and used in a way to benefit someone's career, her career, and that's sad. But hey, I allowed it to happen. It's not like I was completely dumb to it all. I wasn't aware of where it was going to go. I thought, it was great. It seduced me. It was like, and then the same thing so I come out I won Big Brother because of my innocence, and the nation saw that. I got the highest vote ever, 66%, 20 million people. And it was, wow, this is amazing. This is, wow, this is what? They actually like me? And it warped me. It literally warped me. Like I said, it was like a drug. It was like wow. Didn't quite believe it to start with. And then over the period of a year, it really transformed me. I mean, I think with anyone, you're everywhere, on newspapers, TV, doing shows all the time, getting good money. And like, I was a fighter. All of a sudden, I didn't really want to fight. Why don't I go and get punched in the face when these people here? Because I was getting love. The reason why I fight ultimately, which I discovered, and mixed with bad guys and was a soldier, and ultimately I wanted acceptance, and I wanted acceptance from other people, because I didn't accept myself. I wanted love, and guess what? I thought at the time I was getting love from everybody. So the love I would get from an audience cheering for me, or the same thing I would do if I was doing a play or a film, or because I'm an actor as well. When people, that's really good. You get love. I was getting love every day from people, from just on the street, because people were. I went from like the bad guy to the top, the amazing guy. This country loves a rags to riches story, and then it started to go bad again. And also my innocence, the person who they loved, started to get warped. And so I started to become someone slightly different. Then I kind of woke up to it all. And I remember saying to Kate, I wish you weren't famous, and I wish you didn't have any money. Then we could have a proper relationship. And then it broke down, the relationship. Roll on. I did the whole same thing again. I got off the fame pipe with Katie, and I got back on it with the mother of my child, Chantal Houghton. And I have some guilt because I was, don't do it. It's just like Katie. Yeah, but you could probably trust her because she's been in the same boat as you. She's been hurt. No. She's just trying to make money. You can make a few quid here yourself though. So I listened to that voice. And guess what? We had a child. And I can't say too much about that. I love my child with all my heart. But there's been some pain and suffering there, which is sad. Because I'm not with the mum. And I mean, there's no pain or suffering now. But I mean, obviously, if coming from being the youngest of 6 growing up, family is everything to me. So when you split that dynamic up, not to say that you can't bring up children from a distance, But that's not how I was brought up. So that's a bit sad, because you always want to have that. It's good to have that balance of a mother and father in your life. So which you can still have, but I mean, when they're not together, it makes when there's arguing, it's not good for the kid. So I have some guilt there, but I've forgiven myself. I tell you, when I had Dolly, my little girl, it sobered me up to the celebrity world. All of a sudden I thought, what the F are you doing, Reid? Come on, you can't be doing this stuff. You've got to be, it wasn't completely getting off the fame pipe straight away, but over the period of 6 months, I was like, this isn't what I want. This isn't who I am. I've become a joke, a laughing stock. You know, I went along with things that I wasn't comfortable with, really wasn't comfortable with. The whole, well, I don't know to mention it, but is
that the dressing up thing? Or
yeah. It's all that sort of stuff. I'm like, whatever you do, I mean,
hey, mate, you should have joined the Marines. You can wear women's clothes as often. Well, you're not allowed to anymore. They banned it in the Marines.
Really? Wait, why is that?
It's always been a core staple of the Corps is you wear women's clothes. I don't know where it comes from.
Same as the Paras, I suppose. The same sort of thing.
It's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not like a sexuality thing or an orientation thing. It's just bootnecks love going out and wearing women's clothes, right?
Yeah, but I got it. I'm with you. And the reason why I'm being serious with this, and I've had this conversation a lot of times, I get tired of it because it's affected my brand as I've become I was the cross-dressing cage fighter. I'm like, it's kind of married to I wasn't married to Chantel, but with two extremely high-profile people in the media. It's sensational. It's wow, look at this. But it also affects your brand. So I've done a diligent job for the last several years to move away from all of that. Not that I'm denying all that stuff. It's not just fun, but it was not fun when you've been ridiculed, especially with the whole, I've gone on a big tangent. Let's go back to celebrity come dying.
Now, can I just say, in your honour, I was going to say defence, but you don't need defending. Plus, you're tougher than me anyway. But I saw you on this podcast, Raspberry 8. If we can give a shout out to I don't know the chap's name. I'm
Daniel.
Daniel, hello Daniel. Very wonderful podcast, right? And I was vaguely aware, Alex, that you were this kind of tabloid celebrity. I knew there's much more to you than that, obviously. I don't really watch the Big Brother thing, so I think I might have heard that you'd won that or this kind of thing. And there you are on this podcast, and you were so honest, talking from the heart, so calm, collected, thoughtful, massively knowledgeable, spiritual, which is a way that we all need to go. And you're a bit like me. It's not about being hippy dippy shit. It's about doing what works in your life, right? And rejecting the some people call it evil, if you want to call it that kind of thing. And in addition, you're one of the very few people that I live this Kundalini high. I don't really understand it, but I just know that I live on a different wavelength from what I did back in, let's just say, my druggy, where I was hardcore druggy and eating. I never really ate McDonald's, but just eating stuff and watching, flicking through the TV, blah blah blah. But now I've got to this beautiful state. Like, you're a person that, like, just to listen to you, I know that I'm up there. It's almost like therapeutic. Your honesty, your genuineness, and your openness as to what the truth is out there for all of us. So that's how I thought, wow, get Alex on my podcast. This will be a chat between two mates that I will really enjoy. So I just wanted to say that so you don't feel you have to defend yourself in any way, what shape or form, you know.
But I did for so long, and ultimately the thing I'm still working on is accepting and loving myself. There's parts of me that I still don't, and that's a work in progress. But I'm more than I've crossed the peak. You know, I'm like, yeah, you're a good guy, Alex Reid, because I felt suicidal so many times. You see, there was a celebrity who was on that Love Island or something, or was it, Mike Falassis. He hung himself. I've lost a young man. I think he was just in his 30s. I've lost three friends, the similar age, all the same weight, and it's horrendous. You get so low, and ultimately it's about loving yourself. And the funny thing about me and you, I don't know you well enough to say this, but maybe I'm just generalizing. You strike me from talking to you for like 5 minutes. We are generally, before we were awakened, happy souls all the time. No, not happy smiles, when inside there could be absolute misery. So you like, yeah, everything's fine, it's fine. But inside, you're dying, you're absolutely dying. But you put on the face. So, you know, and that's the dangerous. That's why it's important to talk about it and awaken it. I mean, we can't help it to be spiritual because we are spirit, but it's becoming aware and awakened of it. And I think we were talking literally just before we come on about the state of the world, about, I call it LMCs, my good old dad, low mental capacity. There's a lot of people in the world, and again, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. We've been designed from the minute we are born to be controlled. We're told what to think, what to believe, what's right and wrong, how to live. We're owned. We have a passport, a birth certificate. Can't be free. We're not free. We have to obey the rules. To some degree, that's great, you know, but would we be, that's going back a little bit heavy and hippie, is man fundamentally, before society and government, bad? Is it dog eat dog? I'll kill you and you kill me. Or did we get along and love? I like to think that we were, well, I've actually been studying this. We're all about love, you know, and well, I'm not going to get into too hippie because this isn't the time. But there's energies around us, intelligent energies beyond our comprehension. And as you said, there's different dimensions around us all the time. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Dogs can hear things we can't hear. There's frequencies going here on this phone, and you can't see them. I can speak to someone in Japan. Doesn't mean it's not there. So there's different dimensions of different things going on. Intelligent, which are, there's benevolent and malevolent ones. I'm not going to go into too much in that but just look at what's going on in the world. You seem to be, we were talking literally just before we came on about what's going on. And it seemed like you struck me a little bit pessimistic about it. And that's understandable. And it's nervous. It is nervous, but I'm not buying what's going on, which is the governments of the world's standpoint. And I'll tell you why. I've been in more than 50 court hearings, and just taking this from a practical level, been in more than 15 court hearings in the last 10 years, which is an absurd, ridiculous amount. And very sad. And I'll tell you about, I can't go into exact details, but I'll tell you some things about that in a second. When you're presented with evidence, even if it's crap and it's presented for a judge, you're going to listen to it. Now, okay, so we've got the evidence of the government, of the governments of the world, of the WHO, of the World Health Organization, the top scientists, they don't lie to us. They're presenting this evidence. Okay. But then you're getting evidence from someone else. They're not just Joe Bloggs or someone else, we won't mention his name. There's a very famous person who's a conspiracy theorist. There's people of renown who are presenting peer-reviewed backed research. I'm like, well, okay, well, let's just discuss it. Let's just discuss it then. Let's have a look at it. Let's not just cut it out because we don't want people to think. Let's at least discuss it, and let's let people decide. Oh no, it's too dangerous. We can't have that. We can't have people. That's all I'm saying. Let's let people decide what's going on. And I've gone off on a massive tangent, but I did mention that with all of the sadness that's happened to me, I've used creatively to form a foundation. What I've found, it sounds like I'm talking in riddles. What I've found, when you're suffering, if you can find some reason for the suffering and you can help other people with that, that helps you cope with it. And that's what I've done. I formed the Bob Reid Foundation, which is an organization to help parents, let's get rid of that, parents and grandparents have a relationship with their alienated child or grandchild. I have a bit of experience in this. That's all I can say. I have a lot of experience in this. And it's one of the saddest, most horrendous things that goes on in our society. But I'm helping people, generally helping people, and it makes me feel great. It doesn't make my situation great, and I kind of put that to the back of my mind in some respects, but by being of service, my pain and suffering has some reason. The Bob Reid Foundation is, if anyone out there ultimately I'll share you a link so you can put it up there. Just check us out, www.bobreidfoundation.com.
Who was Bob, mate?
Bob Reid, my dad, a loving father, grandfather of many children, creative, an ex-paratrooper, even though, funnily, I didn't even know Dad was a soldier until I was about 14. He was a hippie. He was a proper hippie. He served in Cyprus against the Oka terrorists in 1956 and Suez. He had a family, wanted to leave the army, but he was a very creative, loving person, full of culture. He was I loved my dad, absolutely loved him. And like me, an absolute diplomat, kind, compassionate, loving soul. Slightly inappropriate at times, which is why we've had suffering. Because unfortunately, people will use that. Well, people, if they're clever and they mean you bad, they can twist your words. And that's what I've had repeatedly. And I'm going to go back to it again. This all went on a tangent because you were talking about a celebrity come time with me. I think that was one of the last celebrity things I did. I still do the odd celebrity thing. I'm not completely anti it. Look, I'm a businessman, right? If I'm going to do a bit of business, I mean, I know if I mention Katie Price, that can probably help. As horrible as it is, I don't want to ever talk about that woman ever again. But she has a weird car crash. It's like watching a car crash. People want to watch that. So that's going to promote the podcast. I don't want to ever promote her. I don't want to ever talk about her ever again in my life. Because I was doing stuff way before. I had my first big TV show a week before I even met her. I lost more from being with her than gained, much more. But so what I'm saying is, if there's a business deal to be done, look, we want to get it out there. We want to tell people about it. So I'm all right for a bit of celebrity in the right text. Unfortunately, it's not been always that great. Mm. What's your opinion on all press is good press? Obviously, Jimmy Savile press or Gary Glitter press isn't good press, but
I'm not into that because I'm an honest guy. I love all people, Alex. Only everything you see coming from me, right? Other than one thing, which I will mention, is just because I love humanity. I love this universe, and I've found the way to become an enlightened individual. And I've been through some shit to get here, right? The one caveat to that is I needed 500 quid a month to pay my bills. That's the, if you want to call it, the commercial guy in me, or the businessman, or the, you know, I prostitute myself for 500 quid. I need that, right? If I can't pay my bills, I can't be doing shows on YouTube and all this kind of thing. So in order to maintain that £500 a month, I had to go into different pockets, some of which I wasn't particularly comfortable with, but which I could justify with my moral compass, because I knew where I'd get to now, which is a voice that heals many, many thousands of people. You know, I'm in process of setting up a charity just so I can give this very simple system that I've developed. It's very simple. Life is simple. It's just clusterfuck by the crap that these sociopaths that control us and who own the media shove in front of the average person's face all day long, right? I'm not saying that there's ever going to be an answer to any of this, but what I am saying is my brothers and sisters in the military community are killing themselves at a rapid rate. I think that extends to the wider mental health kind of scenario. I don't think it's just service people. I think there's a lot of people.
I just wondered, I asked this question, this is a question, I asked this question just yesterday. Do you think our ancestors 100, 200, 300, even 1,000 years ago committed suicide?
Well, of course not. It wouldn't.
So why are we doing it now? I mean, obviously they died because there was life could have been a bit tougher. But what's going on?
We're doing it now, mate, because we've been sold a lie by a bunch of sociopaths that are a very small group in society, that they get their kicks and their power base from manipulating and controlling others. They haven't found the light, the spirituality, the love, the stuff that we're talking about.
Well, mate, that's all a bit hippy-whippy here, mate. You're talking a load of bollocks, mate. Come on. I'm a real world geezer. How are we gonna sort this problem out then? Give me some real world answers. I don't understand all that stuff. What can I do to stop this evil?
God, there's so many things, mate. First of all, everybody, women included, need to grow a pair of fucking bollocks, you know? Seriously, it's fine to think for yourself. You don't have to be subject to groupthink and worry what these people might think about you. This is the game they play. They make you afraid of having your own mind, because they've set, and look what's happening in society at the minute, set up so many groups of hate that are under the guise of freedom and liberation and respect and inequality for all. And that's not I'm not referring to the American Constitution there, which I think is wonderful. You know, they've got everybody hating on each other when we're all actually trying to do the same thing, which is love, live, chill the fuck out, and spend as much time with our kids as we can before we die. Life's not that complicated, but these sociopaths, they know how to play the game because they've done it for thousands of years, and they know how
Hold on a second. Spend as much time with
your children
before
these carbon molecules, which we've kidded ourselves.
Even better, right? Carbon molecules, right? So what happens then? These carbon molecules.
We die, they dissolve, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, all that thing.
What about us?
Next week, mate. Next week, you're the tail of a fish, or you're the feather on a bird, or you're certainly a little tiny part of it. And the great energy that flows through us, which people will have tried to say is your individualism, this sort of thing. I just think it's part of the whole great.
Christhrall, does he exist again anywhere else? Is he not eternal?
No.
And then a part of you.
I'll only
What do you know about the? What do you know about the? I think I said this a few times. The 8 grams theory.
What is this? When you're burned, you boil down to 8 grams.
Yeah. No, not when you're burned. Not when you're burned. The second you die, they've made it. I'm gonna have this wrong, and someone can please shoot me down the flames if I have this wrong. I've got a lot of information, and I've not checked it all. And I often get criticised by my family. Oh, Alexander, you're looking at some stupid conspiracy theory stuff again. I'm like, well, yeah, I am. But I mean, is it stupid? Just have a look at it yourself. Oh, no, that's a load of rubbish. All right, okay. So, but what the government say on the BBC or Sky, that's not rubbish, is it? Okay. If I could prove to you what they've said is rubbish. Anyway, I've gone off. Long story short, 8 grams. Second you die, you're 8 grams less.
8 grams to me probably means something different to, no, not to you, but to other people. It's not a weight. It's
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what.
Mate, I'm going to be completely honest. I never had the money to buy. I think 8 grams was probably the biggest amount of you-know-whats I ever bought in my life. I wasn't a guy that could buy these quarters and all this. I don't even know the weights, mate. For me, it was like, I think a quarter used to be 3.5 grams, and I could just about afford that because I was unemployed and all this sort of stuff, right? But back to your 8 grams, and I'll stop trying to be deviant.
The second you die, you weigh 8 grams less.
What does?
You do.
When I die?
The millisecond, the nanosecond, the second you die, you weigh 8 grams less. Oh, there. Yeah. Just.
Is that because they take my wig off?
What have I done here? Can you
no,
see
you're
me?
fine. As far as we're concerned, mate, you're fine. You're
Okay.
For a para.
No, you're naked. So what's 8 grams?
Pass on that one, mate. I got.
Well, I don't. I've not physically died in this species, in this avatar yet. Avatar.
Okay. For people listening, right? I don't profess to know it all. I just know what works for me, and I'm the happiest person I ever met. Even when I have the worst day possible, I'm still the happiest person because there ain't no reason to be unhappy, right? Or when there are days that come that are extremely challenging, and we all know what those could be. You know, you can have a better mindset at coping with these horrible kind of, terrible times in life. Basically, when we lose a loved one, right? That I don't profess, when I talk about carbon molecules, I'm not a scientist. I read the script.
I'm not.
I've read a bit of the scriptures that when it comes my way, I don't avidly seek it out, but I gather that people through history have felt like I am, that there's a kind of spirity thing, energy.
So you have done drugs, right? And let's talk about, have you done drugs which mess around with your penile? Not your penile gland. Your dimethyltryptamine, the chemical which we produce when we die and when we sleep, when we go into deep meditation, the chemical that gives you deja vu, gut feelings, in a sense, third eye psyche, just knowing, instinct. Have you done those drugs? Or medicines?
Well, plant medicine I've not done in that kind of, not in the context you're talking about. I mean, some people say weed is a medicine, right? And yeah, it does. Yeah. I've no doubt it cures many things. It's also highly acidic if you smoke it.
Yeah.
So the notion that you can smoke yourself healthy is
Yeah.
That's not going to pass with me.
All right, let me get off the drug. The only reason I went drugs is because I know you've done drugs. I was intrigued what drugs you've done. You don't need. You produce all of these drugs absolutely naturally, if you know how to harness your body and use it in the correct way. I'm doing a lot of hard qi kung, which is basically Tai Chi on steroids. Have breathing, a lot of deep yogic pranic breathing, and you can actually. There's several chemicals: serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. There's a few more, which we all need every day, from cuddling, from hugging, from smiling, from fresh air, from eating good, from breathing. And I just cuddle with my Chihuahua. I'm the world's best Chihuahua dad. This little thing has given me so much love. And I get oxytocin. Playing with a dog, I look into her eyes every day. It's the most wonderful feeling. Forget about any drug that I can buy on the corner or from the pharmacy. These are drugs we all produce naturally. And going off onto one. Have you had feelings of you just know it all, you get it all, you've got absolute, complete enlightenment, and then millisecond later?
That's where I am. That's where I am now, Alex. I'm a completely enlightened being. There might be people that have a different.
But what I mean is, you got it, and then you lose it again.
You only lose it when you go acidic because your lifestyle choices have been a bit crap. Because maybe you've been partying with the boys all weekend.
You know what the meaning of life is, the universe, everything. Why we're here. It's got to be more to life than just having children, getting a job, going providing for them, dying, and then that's it. To me, it's got to be something more.
Yeah, when you find a meaning in life, you'll realise you never needed to ask the question in the first place.
So you have. I envy you. What is it?
But it's not
42.
But I've been through a lot, mate. When I was going through my real addiction phase, which is suffering, but let's be honest, you're not going to learn stuff if you haven't suffered. People would say to me, "You think too much. Why don't you just stop thinking?" And my kind of answer was, "Well, because I'm dying. If I don't think my way out of this, I won't be here in a year's time. You can't stick needles in your arm 12 times a day and live in utter squalor and be doing handstands on the top of skyscrapers for very long, And
is that what you're doing 12 times a day?
Yeah, I was injecting. Basically, I got addicted to crystal meth in Hong Kong. And over there, you just smoke it off a bit of silver foil, a bit like chasing the dragon, right? And then when I got back to the UK a year later, crystal was very hard to get hold of in this country unless you're in the right circles. And down here in Janaland, which is the southwest of England for people that are listening, it's not something you could call up, some dealer that and he's going to bring it round. But what they could bring you back then, and we're talking 20 years ago, was base. So base is a form of methamphetamine, right? But it's raw. Crystal meth is pure, right? Yeah. Give you an idea. I don't even need to go there, but
raw and pure. What's raw difference? I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated.
Crystal meth. The reason they call it ice, is it's methamphetamine, which is a very strong form of. So amphetamine was your old
speed.
You could buy diet pills at the chemist, especially in the 60s.
Yeah. My mum in the 70s was on speed all the time. She didn't know. She was taking diet pills.
Still buy them. You could still buy it. 10 years ago in Thailand, you could walk into a chemist, say, "Look, I'm feeling a bit fat. Can you give me some of them?" And they go. They knew you was just wanted to get high, right? But they sell you over the counter this pot pack of 10 pills. You pop. I don't know the dose, guys, so please don't do this. But let's just say you pop 4 of them, and next thing you know, you've got just this lovely for me anyway, rushy, like happy, excited, let's get shit done. Crystal meth. The reason it's called ice is it's methamphetamine purified through a chemical process to its purest form. So if you buy, let's say, a gram.
I watched Breaking Band, so I know they've always got the hard. It looks like ice.
Yeah, it looks like ice because it's like 99.7% pure methamphetamine.
And what do you do? Do you inject that? Do you smoke it?
Whatever you want.
All of those.
Or
and what sort of how do you not know to overdose and kill yourself? And what does it do to you? Is that the same thing as what we call PCP? Is that what crystal?
Nothing. No, different. Angel dust or PCP, I think, is some like a tranquilizer thing here. Probably, I don't know, guys. So feel free to write in the comments. But I'm guessing that's something along the lines of ketamine. I'm not sure.
So you did this crystal meth, and what would it do? How long would you be up for?
Oh, this is the thing, right? 1 gram of party speed, right? You do that in a oneer. It's probably like 10% pure anyway, right? And it's going to give you a buzz for 5 or 6 hours. You go to your rave or your house party and you come home and you sleep and you feel a bit shit for the next 3 days, right? 1 gram of methamphetamine, you only going to be wanting to do even hardcore, a quarter of that, and you're going to be raging, right? And you're talking not sleeping for 24 hours at least, right?
So you could easily overdose on that.
1 gram of crystal meth, and this is what people don't get, doesn't even compare to those 2 other examples. This is pure. 1 tiny crystal the size of a rock salt, like what you put on your dinner, right? 1 crystal the size of a rock salt. If you haven't done it before, you smoke that, you're going to be up 24 hours, right? And to give you an idea, if you buy a gram, which I couldn't really, the only time I think bought a full gram.
How does it work? Are you compos mentis? Are you like in a euphoric level?
Well,
the reason I'm asking, I'm trying to find out why people do that. Do they escape? I mean, I know I've done drugs. I've escaped reality.
Yeah. It's like, let me just finish the example for anyone who's interested. So 1 gram, you've got about 50 crystals.
Yeah.
1 crystal keep you up 24 hours. You've got 50. Okay, your tolerance goes up massively, like the more you take. What I'm saying is 1 gram.
That 1 gram would kill you then? That would kill you?
Oh, I knew people in Hong Kong that would inject a gram something like 3 times a day. It was utterly just phenomenal, mate. Extreme. I couldn't believe it. For me, I'd make my little gram last the whole week and I wouldn't sleep. I didn't sleep for 9 days one time. You know, the police.
Oh my God. And what happens to your mind when that happens?
So
you must go. The reason why I'm so intrigued is because you're altering your chemicals and your physiology. We have natural hormones, and you're atrophying them. It's like, I understand steroids. You take testosterone to get big and strong. Guess what you do? But your body stops making its own testosterone. So I wonder what happens to your body. You're taking all these happy hormones artificially and releasing them all, and then you've got none left. But what happens? How do you combat that?
I can only talk from a scientific point of view, from what the textbooks would say, because if I was to tell you my experience, we get this podcast gets demonetized automatically on certain platforms, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's tempting to glorify the thing, which I will never do. I will only ever give you my truth about anything, but particularly this area, because if you go and if someone went and did this and died, I don't want that on my conscience. You got to remember, any time you do drugs, folks, your risk of death significantly. I'm not saying loads of people are dying on a drug. If you look statistically, it's actually quite rare. But what I'm saying is, you do it, and certainly if you do it long enough, you'll be like me, where you'll look back and you'll have lots of mates that are dead.
And the misery it causes in your life.
The misery.
I mean, it's all very well. What goes up doesn't just come down; it comes crashing down. That destroys not just your life; it destroys other people's lives around you. So that's listen. You're not. There's no glorification there, in my opinion.
No,
it's like, but people don't understand. I don't understand it.
From the textbook point of view, it gives you a euphoric rush.
Yeah.
So you
go. How long
from
that last? For days?
Depends, again, like I said, how much you're doing. But let's say you do that one crystal and you smoke it off a bit of foil or whatever, you're going to suddenly... Well, I can only talk textbook. I can't tell you my experience. So the textbook would say you experience a euphoric rush.
Yeah.
It's going to be that euphoric rush is going to... For the people that like that drug, and let's remember, not everybody likes every drug. Some people can do something and go, fuck that shit, I didn't like it, I don't want to do that again, it made me like this, or it made me like that, right? But if you're a person, and significantly with crystal meth, more people seem to get on that train than other drugs, right? If you like, and if you like it, you feel euphoric. You feel absolutely unbelievable. If let's say you had a very damaged childhood and you went through school being told you were a failure, and you had unresolved childhood trauma, which we're now finding out many people have, right?
Yeah.
Called PTSD, right?
Yeah.
Then suddenly you're giving this magic chemical that puts all that shit to bed. You don't just feel good about yourself, but you feel like, oh my God, you are master of the freaking universe.
It's a mask, isn't it? It's a mask, isn't it? It's all right. It's basically like what we have it in this. We have it in the world. When people who are in suffering, in such pain, we give them overdoses of morphine. I think there's a word for it. You basically, I mean, my father, unfortunately, he's such pain. They kept giving him more and more morphine.
Can I just say, because it come back to something you're saying, Alex, and I'm not claiming that I agree with this or anything. I'm just saying it for conversation's sake. They're now saying that giving people morphine at the end of their life is severing their connection with the natural DMT that would kick in.
Yeah.
Take you to this amazing euphoric place where you weren't scared of death, for example, and you were no longer in pain.
Yeah. How do they know that? How do they know that? I'm intrigued. That makes sense, because this is what I'm trying to say about drugs and having done drugs. It's all very well doing them, but you're stopping the body's natural ability to go to places which you can naturally have. Like I said, look at testosterone and steroids. You stop producing testosterone. So what's best? Saying that, I mean, I'm always like, having done drugs, I'm anti-drugs. But if I'm on the operating table and you're going to cut me open, and I'd like some drugs, please. I know I could deal with it if I had to. But if I've got the option of like having, what do you call that thing where you put in your back to numb you, an epidural, to stop me feeling all the pain, then yeah, I'll have the epidural, please. But it's like the birthing canal. I mean, lots of women now, they want the C-section straight away.
Apparently, according to my friend, that's quite normal in Australia. That's the thing they go for first before...
Yeah. But you get, when the baby goes through the vaginal canal, it gets all of the information from my studying about how to develop its immune system. It needs to go through that vaginal canal, the birth canal, to get the most immune fighting effects. So if you're bypassing, obviously there's going to be cases where you need to do a C-section, but if it's purely for vanity, then it's not actually best for the health of your child.
But what I'm trying to say is I'm working to the day when I can make enough money to fund my charity and put content online.
What's your charity?
At the minute, it's just it's christhrall, it's christhrall.org as a concept, right? But my idea is I want to help people that are feeling suicidal to say, no, it doesn't have to be that way. And look, just start doing these little things, baby steps, which is what I had to do when I was dying from addiction, right? As many people know, imperative you smile at the sun every morning. And if you don't understand why you need to do that, then you and I, we need to talk, because that is just a
all right,
fundamental.
Let's talk about it now. What's all this smile at the sun malarkey, Thrall?
It's gratitude, mate.
Why the sun?
It's symbolic of the life force, the energy, the greater universe, this thing that we probably will never understand. And do you know what? That's okay. We don't have to understand it. It's just something, there's something nice about connecting with the universe. It makes you feel good and it puts your life on the right path, right? The idea of saying thank you to the sun every morning is gratitude for this one chance at this life. Some people say you have several lives. I can't talk about that because I don't know about it. It's to remember, especially for people like ourselves who've been in the military. I know many young people that died at a very young age. They're no longer here. Some of them died in absolutely horrific circumstances. And so when I'm smiling at the sun every morning, thank you, Mother Nature. Thank you for my chance at life. I'm living on behalf of them.
Do you believe in past lives? Do you not think about it?
I don't believe in anything that can't be proved to me. And it's not that I'm a doubt. It's that I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't dispute it, Alex. It's just, I don't know. How could I ever prove it? 100 people could tell me I've had this vision, this.
But you understand, so I was anti-tanks Milan, right? And in the army. I remember 18-year-old kid, so listening to our officer talking about how the mechanism here goes down there, the charge goes there, and it goes round, and then, yeah, but sir, if I press this button and point it over there, it goes bang. Yes, Reid. Yes, Reid. Thank you, sir. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. There's things I don't understand, but I have an appreciation how this world works, and I'm like, I've got faith that my intelligence there's got to be something more here. You know, the things that we've got in our everyday society. What's that? Is it Turkey? That ancient tomb, Göbekli Tepe. I'm not saying it right. It's about 12,000 years old. It's got precision cuts, which they can't do today, which they didn't have the tools. You know, and forget the pyramids. The pyramids are quite modern. There's even ancient more pyramids around the world, and they're showing how that, you know, the Baghdad battery, all this ancient technology. And you look at all, and I've done a lot of, not in-depth studying, but I've read a lot on like ancient literature texts, religious texts, civilizations, Mesopotamia, Assyria, the Vedas. You know, the Vedas, they talk about like ships, spaceships, and like these. They call them gods or titans, but aliens basically, giving them the technology, and you actually see the correlation on how advanced they were. So when I'm seeing all this, I'm like, it's got to be some, like the ancient Egyptians. They talk about they put your organs in a pot, all different pots, your heart, your lungs, for the next life. And I'm like, we all think that's hocus pocus. Well, not all of us. No, I mean, I just think that's all crazy. They're all backward. They're like crazy. But hang on. This is what I was trying to say earlier on. I've had moments.
One sec. Yeah, that I can't remember the name of the ruins, but I've been there, and you see this a lot in Central and South America. These massive stone blocks.
Yeah.
I would say granite, but again, I don't pretend to know.
No.
Some of them weigh in excess of 100,000 tons, if not more. They are huge, right? And they're put together with such precision that you couldn't put a Rizzler paper between them.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, Alex, I don't know if anyone in our modern culture has been able to explain how they did it. Which
I'm sure they will. It's like they understand how they understand. Are we on now?
Yeah.
They understand now about the pyramids being electrical power stations.
Yes.
But they've seen all the scientists are saying it's not common knowledge, which I don't understand why. You know, it's you can see all the trace elements, and they've got the theory, and it would be conducting. This is where it gets a bit far out. So like spaceships, and they talk about how much electricity they had back in ancient Egypt. Why have I gone this? What I'm saying is science is starting to catch up. It's starting to understand with the uncovering. I'm sure we already know all this. It's about releasing it at the right times. I mean, the Tower of Babel was burnt. It was one of the great ancient wonders of the world. We would apparently be 1,000 years ahead of advancement with the technology that we had in there. There's so much knowledge that which is being withheld from us. Why? Control, religion, business, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's big business, and if the business is to keep us as a slave race, not questioning, and the most advanced form of slavery is today with the pound note or any note. We haven't got enough money to pay. What's your number one thing you've got to do before you can sit down and have this conversation with me on this podcast? Find you 500 quid. It's like we're all slaves to that, or are we? Trying to change my mindset around that.
It's like I say, though, Alex. You know, when I say grow a pair of balls, I'm obviously talking to our beautiful sisters as well. I don't mean any offence there, but we let these sociopaths create this phony money system that puts us in debt our whole lives, right? And we just accept it.
Do we? Do we let them? We don't know any different. Like I often consider it like lemons.
We let them through our naivety and our belief that what we see on that thing in the corner of the room, that thing called a television. Matrix,
Neo wakes up and he's like, hang on, is this real? Can I jump off a building and fly? And he doesn't the first time. Like lemons, right? Most of us are lemons, low mental capacity. Even I know all the bullshit in the media. And I still occasionally, I don't even read a newspaper, but I might see a headline here or there. And, oh, blimey, so-and-so's done that. And, oh, hold on, Alexander Reid. That might not be true. That might not be true just because it says it in the paper. But it's continually in our subconscious. We're told how to think, how to believe, what's right and wrong. And so if the lemons are all going to fall off the cliff, right? How many Neo lemons are there? Neo, well, I'm talking about, I'm going off in, I'm taking a big leap of faith and everybody listening to me understands what I'm saying. Neo was, what's his name from the Matrix? It was
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves from the Matrix. Yeah, he wakes up and he gets out the Matrix. How many of us are Neos and how many of us are lemons? And when we understand that there's another, we might not be a Neo, but we might be woken up by a Neo. Oh, maybe there's a better way to do things.
Yes.
You say, Chris, we give our power away. Have we really got any choice if we're asleep? if we're plugged in into that matrix, we're plugged in. How do we wake up?
What an absolutely brilliant question, mate.
How do we wake up?
Can we talk about the pyramid stuff again? Because that's fascinating. Who wrote Fingerprint of the Gods? That wonderful.
Oh, what's his name? Yeah. Chariots of the Grots. Was it that one?
I think he's written two. Well, I think he's written several.
I know the guy. He's European guy.
He's on Joe Rogan a lot. Let me just excuse me, folks. I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna type into a search engine.
It's great, isn't it? Is it scary though as well? Because Elon Musk saying with AI, look at what we're getting acclimatized to that now.
Graham, isn't it? It's our Graham Hancock.
And not Graham Hancock. He's done it as well. No, maybe it was Graham Hancock actually.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the book Fingerprints of the Gods.
Yeah.
I think it was this book, mate. I read when I travelled through Central and South America, which I've done a couple of times now. Open my eyes to things. Going back to what you're saying, how much have we been lied to?
Yeah. And there's some things I'm not going to go into because I don't want to be so controversial, but there's no actual hate. And some things I could say which could be considered racist, they could be considered ignorant. And it's not a question of those at all. And I'm not going to go there because I don't want the abuse. It's not, I don't necessarily believe those, but those theories. But when you're presented with evidence, which makes you look at life in a different paradigm, you might think, hold on a second, why are we think this is evil. The actual evil isn't that. That's not the real evil. It sounds like I'm talking in riddles. I'm talking about what's going on with wars, with governments, with empires, how the propaganda, looking at all of the propaganda from before the 20th century, like the Boer Wars, what the Bilderberg and the Rothschilds were doing to create the wars around the world. I don't want to go into it too much, but my point is, we're not really awake to what's really going on. And we connect the dots later on in history. In another 100 years, maybe I think we're starting to get what we call 100 monkey syndrome. Basically, critical mass. When enough people get it, everybody gets it. 100 monkey syndrome there was monkeys in the 60s, 50s, I can't remember, 50s, 60s, being studied on 2 different islands. I think it was in the South Pacific. And they discovered that one group of monkeys, they were washing their bananas. One monkey washed its banana in water and it tasted better. So the other monkeys, oh, that looks good. I'm going to start doing that. So all the monkeys on that island started washing their bananas in water to get the sand off. 100 miles away, simultaneously, at the exact same time, they started doing it. Critical mass, what they're saying, the 100 monkey syndrome. When enough people get it, everybody gets it. So with this theory, it also works in reverse. If everyone's dumbed down, there's something going on at the moment, which we're not going to go on about, but it's fear. It's mass hysteria. But it works in reverse. So it's about people like me and yourself trying to raise vibration, raise consciousness, and make people think for themselves. I went off on a tangent there.
No, you're doing a good job, mate, and you're so right. I want to go back to the pyramid thing, because to people listening, when you just said it's to create energy, rather, they'd be like, hang on, I thought it was a giant sarcophagus, right? No, what Alex is saying is, if you look at the work of Tesla, who built these great big towers into the sky, and he showed how you could create energy from the natural resources without destroying those natural resources. Obviously, I'm talking about oil and gas here, right? And wood, obviously. And when you look at the way the pyramid's designed, they're made of, I'm just talking off the top of my head, they're coated in limestone. They originally had a gold cap on them, which was the first thing to be stolen.
What's that good at doing? Gold?
Conductor.
Of what?
Electricity. Right. Underneath them, they have a river. They're placed on top of underground rivers, which kind of ionizes or some technical blooming stuff. And they have these shafts that go up through them that carry, I think it was copper rods or something. And what the scientists or the historians have told you were sarcophaguses, i.e. these stone chambers to put coffins in, actually that's ridiculous because they're so huge. There's no human being that big. They would have been filled like a battery would have been filled. And these pyramids were able to chuck this huge current into the air, which was then able to be accessed not only by local people. There's some hieroglyphics in Egyptian culture that show people holding light bulbs. This is ancient Egypt. They've got light bulbs, right? But also, these pyramid structures have been found all over the globe.
The biggest one's actually in Bosnia. Was it Croatia?
Hence, this energy goes up into, let's just call it the ionosphere, and it can travel around the planet and be tapped into at other places. And this goes back to the fingerprint of the gods, Graham Hancock's work.
Yeah.
This great realm of knowledge that's been hidden to us by our.
And he was talking about Graham. I think it was him saying how they're in exact alignment with the stars and the symmetry with the parameters of the planet Earth. I don't entirely profess to understand what he's actually talking about there, but all the mathematics sound, but I don't quite. Maybe, do you understand what he's saying about there? How it's in the right diameters and dimensions within decimal point of like the constellations.
Well, not only that, but on other continents, they're in the same amazing alignment. And this is a time when we think there was no communication. You're not the communications that we have now. How long
before we properly lift the lid on it? Like, okay, all right, guys. Well, governments, you know what? We thought it's probably best to sort of tell you that we've been hiding a bit of the truth from you, and let's just let you have it all straight away. Or how do you reckon it all comes out, this information? Because it's coming out more and more and more. I haven't even started on Antarctic. What's going on there? All the underground cities there. The technology there. I haven't talked about the shift of poles. We mentioned when we were off air something about the Anunnaki, and I buy that. It makes sense from all the text I've read, and look at the different correlations in all the different religions around the world, with the Garden of Eden and.
Who are the Anunnaki then, mate?
There's a lot more to it. There's literally hundreds of thousands of years. Long story short, there's a planet X, which when I was at school is in our solar system. They discovered a new planet. I don't know if it's actually been acknowledged as a planet now, has it? Planet X, it's in our solar system, and I can't think it's quite far away. Planet Nibiru, home of, in ancient texts, in Mesopotamian and Assyrian ancient texts and Vedic texts, Indian texts, we talk about these advanced beings coming to planet Earth from planet Nibiru. They're called the Anunnaki. There's lots of politics. They're like gods, titans. Basically, they came down to planet Earth and they create that because their planet was having the hemisphere, the atmosphere needed gold. I don't understand why gold. The element was needed to protect their atmosphere from dying, to protect the planet. So they came here, very advanced civilization, and must have been like gods to the primitives that were here then. I don't know if it was caveman, but I'm paraphrasing. They decided to make a slave race of the cavemen here to serve them, and they initially, this is lots of different theories, having studied different religious texts, went to the Kabbalah Center for about 3 years. Then there were some questions that didn't answer me in London, but in many different texts, like the Kabbalahs, we got the stories of Adam and Eve. You know, Adam was created, and they correlate with the text of the Anunnaki.
Can I chip in what my understanding, and it's very crude, but in the Gnostic Gospels, these scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls or whatever, that were found found in a tomb, that gave a lot more kind of history than what we just got from our existing scriptures, talked about this Anunnaki race. And it is said, and just said, I don't know like where, how, or why it's said, but that they interbred with humankind and they created this hybrid race that are basically that they have the reptilian brain.
Not the Nephilim. It's something different about the Nephilim.
Is that? Am I getting mixed?
Nephilim are the giants that talked about. Yeah, but sorry, I'll shut up. Carry on.
Well, only that this race that they created had, because they had this reptilian brain that had a different frontal lobe, so they didn't experience things like empathy. They could then go out and be the sociopaths that we know today that are controlling the planet. So, you know, let's
look at that. I've been studying Kung Fu, science. We actually all have a reptilian brain. We all have a reptilian brain. We have, from our evolution, we still have elements of it. I know this because I study Tai Chi forms before I fight to get into that reptilian mindset. A reptile isn't scared about paying the mortgage. It's not scared about dying or being died. It's just eat or be eaten. Doesn't, I might lose. So let's look at a mother with its child, her child, and someone tries to come and take the child off them. The mother will instantly fight to the death. You know, give her life. You know, that's the reptilian brain. It's only allowed to learn the amygdala. So we have mammalian, canine, and reptile brain. So we also have that. We still have that reptilian. There's forms I do to get into and how you move your body to access those energies to make me more ready. And they're ancient kung fu forms. There's many different warrior tribes around the world have this advanced technology. You know, they get into that. It's not. It's actually not. There's not emotion. It's like, I'm going to kill you. Is a python or an alligator angry? Are they angry when they eat you? Is a tiger angry when it eats you?
No, they're not, are they? It's their nature.
But it's fucking ferocious. That's what I mean. That's that reptile brain. We all have it. We all have it. So we've gone off on track again.
Is it when someone, let's just say, bombs 2 buildings and massacres 3,000 people in one hit, plus a load of other fucking shit? Are they feeling any emotion?
That's not reptile brain. No, that's not. That's something different. I can go into that. That's reptile is almost innocent, weirdly. Innocent. I mean, again, they don't know any better. If I think I don't know the actual. If I'm going to have virgins in heaven because I've killed the infidels, that's absolutely considered. And I'm doing it for moral reasons, you know.
But I think we're getting on narratives. You're talking official narrative here. I'm talking a real narrative who really committed that act. You know.
Let's go back to Anunnaki because I want to finish that off because we go off on tangents.
So what's the difference between the Anunnaki and the
Nephilim. No, so the Nephilim are, they're talked about in the Bible. They're the giants. Giants ruled the earth. Nephilim. They are the angels had sex with humans, which is forbidden, and created the superior race, Nephilim, who kind of ruled the planet. They were like titans. It's where you can understand different theologies around the world: Greek, Norse. You know, you've got Zeus, you've got Kronos, you've got different Mars. They've all got their own take on it. But so, long story short, all of these different beings are all in similar stories all around the world in different civilizations. So that's why I was going back to Kabbalah. We talk about how do I do this? I'm going to try and this. Don't want to get to Garden of Eden, right? So there's innocent man, poor old innocent man, and then he's got the tree of temptation, the tree of knowledge. You know, that's like giving, right, a box of quality streets in a room next to a 5-year-old kid, and you leave the room. Really? That's not responsible. Where's the free choice there? That's free choice, is it? That's lemons. So don't eat the chocolates. Do not eat the chocolates. You've never eaten a chocolate, but you haven't got knowledge. But what we're told is it's not the first chocolate you eat; it's the second chocolate. So, long story short, these advanced beings. There's many different stories. I'll fast forward. Anunnaki come down. They don't want to do all this work. They want to mine the gold from this planet to take to their planet Nibiru to save it. Oh, this is bloody hard work. Why don't we use these ape men, sort of like, and advance them a little bit, and would genetically splice them and modify them and put some of our DNA in there. Initially, they didn't die. Yeah, I mean, they talk about Noah lived to about 800. Moses was about 600. People didn't die; they lived so much longer. But then, hang on, we're giving them too much power. We need to start genetically modifying them again. And some of them, so these Anunnaki, they would be like the angels. So there's different forms of man, human created, Mark 1, Mark 2, and you see it in the different ape men, the different. I'm trying to simplify it, and there's hundreds of thousands of years here, and politics, arguments between the Titans or the Anunnaki, and wars, lots of war. Some of us sided. Then basically some of the Anunnaki started having sex with the beings that they've created and created this advanced superior race of Nephilim. It goes off and there's all sorts of tangents. It sounds like a science fiction film, but it's not science fiction. It's all in history. Just pick up the different texts around the world and then start looking at when these people who created tombs like Göbekli Tepe, I think I'm saying it right, the pyramids, are they that crazy? Hang on, it's all there in black and white on in tablets, and we're like, nah, that's just hocus pocus. They weren't very advanced. They weren't very advanced. Really, these guys weren't advanced. How can that to me that strokes idiocy. They created things that we can't create today with their technology. Yeah, and there's lots of theories on how they've done that. But now I'm like, so yeah, we've been spliced, we've been mucked around. We were initially eternal. Our soul moves on. It goes. That's why the Egyptians, they talk about the afterlife and coming back. I'm covering about 10 different subjects at once because it's so complex. It's very hard to explain.
Yeah, it's become complex for me, Alex, in recent days, because I would just say, even though we entertain these conversations and these notions, thoughts, bits of history, fragments, video, of course we'll entertain it all. I won't even be skeptical on it. I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? Come on, look,
you're not.
Right? But here's the thing. I said to somebody on a podcast a couple of days ago, look, put all that stuff aside. We still have this elite group. When I say elite, I mean untouchable group of sociopaths. Some people call them psychopaths. Some people call them Satanists. Yeah. Whatever term we want to give.
Illuminati. I shouldn't say that.
Way above Illuminati are just the idiot puppets that buy
reptilian brain, all that stuff. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, the Illuminati are just, and when I say Illuminati, I'm talking about all esoteric organizations. They're just idiots that think that they're going to get some better deal in life by doing stupid shit like this, life isn't like that. You can't. It just isn't like that. I'm not saying I don't understand why people go down those roads, and I know many people that, and I'm sure you do, that have gone.
I've been invited into them.
Yeah, I was threatened by the Illuminati, believe it or not.
Really?
Just a little bit of brief thing. It was a game. Somebody wanted to make my life story into a video game, particularly my eating smoke honk. And I dared ask the question, yeah, but what about email I got back was, you shut up. You're just the guy that signs the thing to say we make the game, right? And it wasn't, these are not big Illuminati bigwigs. This is just basically it was a woman, right? And when I went, sorry, I'm out of here. If you think you're making a game in my name and I'm not allowed to have any creative input, it's just not who I am, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The email then got back, and I wish I'd kept it, was, do you know I'm in with so-and-so who's high up in the Illuminati, and how dare you? And I was like, anyway, that's just, folks, that's just an aside. But here's the thing. My conversation in this podcast a few days ago is, why don't we just focus on this elite group of sociopaths, whether it's a table of 500, council of 5,000, you hear all these different, but if you could go after them and address the rot in society, you know, how would that pan out? And the answer that was replied back to me is, it doesn't work like that, Chris, that these people are controlled by extraterrestrial entities. I'm laughing at there's a time in my life I would have gone, mate, you are fucking spanners. Seriously, like you want me to believe that?
Who told you this? Who told you this?
Oh, I chat with, and I'm not saying this in any humiliation. These are very respectful people.
See, I'm actually buying that. From everything I've looked at, it sounds, you can't, there's things we can't explain and comprehend why that's happening. So I'm like, there's got to be something more to it.
James Bartley is a fascinating chat I podcasted with recently. We did like all my podcasts are mutual, as you can tell, you know, I want a conversation. I don't want interviews. Is what the BBC did, and that's what I despise, because they're so constructed and they're so aimed at deviating the human being's mind, getting control in the human. And I want podcasts to be a chat between two people that have got a bit to say, right? Anyway, I'm digressing. The thing was, what I got from James is where does the order out of chaos end? You know, order out of chaos. It's the old Masonic, you know, put these idiots in chaos and we'll just control the whole lot of them, right? That's the old Illuminati thing, isn't it? Order out of chaos, order ad chaos. Where does like that chucking shit into the mix to just confuse us and get us all arguing and putting videos on YouTube and all this sort of, where does that end, and where does the actual like reality of what the hell is going on in the world kind of, you know, exist? Because I would have just said it's a simple case of recognizing we've been lied to all our lives. Everything we know is a lie. Diet, health, medication, media, history, massive lie. The history of the wars, even bigger lie, right? You know, if you believe the way that war is written in history,
yeah,
you're never going to see the light. You know, you're going to be thinking it's about good guys and bad guys, and it really is. Well, it kind of is, but it's not. The good guys and the bad guys are not the people that you think, right? So, you know, if people can recognize all these things are a lie, then you can go, well, who's lying to us? Okay, let's go for the media companies. Let's just take them out. I'm not talking about physical violence here, by the way. I'm talking theoretically, we take them out. We put those bosses in chairs and say, right, we're going to steal everything from your life like you've done to us.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to steal your freedom, your spiritual enlightenment, like you've done to millions of us our whole lives. Okay, this guy told me to do it. All right, then we go to the next level, and then we get this line of corporations and bankers, and you know, all of whom are operating out of their ego. So they're, you know, they're doing the devil's work, if you want to put it in biblical terms. You know, they operate out of their ego. They're sociopathic. They don't care. You know, they can make these decisions. Right, we get to that level, but come on. In order to get the agenda, and again, we're not going to talk specifics here, but we all know what's going on in the world at the minute, right? In order to be able to have that massive...
Well, we do. Well, I like to think I have an idea, but what would you say the majority of the planet is?
Alex, when I say we all know, I'm talking to my subscribers, because they are switched on, kind, caring people that want the best. A lot of them are involved in the Q movement, right?
Got you. But what do you reckon the majority of the planet is? I call it LMC, low mental capacity. Do you reckon people are awake what's going on?
No, of course not. I think we're fucked, mate, to be honest.
Percentage, what would you say? Enlightened to, like, not quite sure.
Look what's on TV. Strictly Come Dancing, celebrities take a shit on ice or something. Is that... This is the level of our mental capacity. Is we think that is a good thing to pass on to our kids.
But do you know what I think though?
Sorry, no offense if you know.
Having been involved in celebrity, and I don't even watch TV now. Actually, I watched a film last night. I've watched a film. I've got a smart TV. I haven't even put it on. I thought, okay, I'm just going to watch a film. I enjoyed it, but I don't put TV on anymore. I wonder how many am I indicative of society? Are more people not putting TV on, or is that because I tried to? I've lost a bit of touch of what the average Joe is like. I don't know what the average Joe is.
I don't know. Maybe
in Western society.
Let's ask our listeners and viewers and subscribers and what I call friends, put below in a comment, you know, do you think that watching Strictly Come Dancing is going to solve the woes of the universe?
I'm not disparaging. If someone wants to watch Strictly Come Dancing, lock yourself up. My mum used to love it. I mean, it was great. And I used to think, wow, she's literally being brainwashed 24/7 by the TV. Yeah. And I look at her life. Sadly, she's now in a home with Alzheimer's, and she's not interested in those things. But for the last probably 10 years, she's just been brainwashed by TV, sitting down, nothing. She obviously, you know, she's brought up all us wonderful children. I'm the youngest of 6, and I'm like, what's she got in her life? It's all about, and I think it's indicative of society in England. People, once they've looked after their children and they've, you know, provided for them, what they got left, you know, TV. It's got to be more to life than just sitting on and being told the lies of the television. Tell a vision of what they want you to tell. And I'm like, I used to have women having conversations with mum when she was more with it a couple of years ago and talking about things. And it started to become, I'm not blaming television for my mum getting Alzheimer's, but there is some blame. I tell you why, because I asked you a question a little bit earlier about would you think people 100, 200, 1,000 years ago committed suicide like we do today? What's going on in our society? We're eating crap, which is affecting as you said, you're big on alkaline. I love it, alkaline diet. If we're eating acid and we're poisoning ourselves, then we're going to not feel as good. And we're being told continually how to think, breathe, eat, sleep, wear masks, do this, do that, because we've got to be fearful. We've got to do your bit. Do your bit, and you'll be a good person. Hang on, is that a good person? Some of the things that have gone down in history, you're told you think you're doing the right thing. You think you're a good person, morally. I mean, we've done horrendous things in history. Slavery, even it's going on today.
Yeah, you didn't do that, mate, and I didn't do it, and we haven't got to feel any guilt about that. That is a part of the agenda, is to make us white.
Look, I'm so totally anti Black Lives Matter. I tell you why, because it's talking to intelligent black people. They say this isn't helping us.
No, of course it's
not. They're saying this is a political movement which it's not helping us at all, and people are getting behind it. Look, I'm so anti-slavery, and the black man have his equality, but when you see all and when I'm talking about this, I'm shot down in flames to well, no, I'm not. I will fight for your right to have your freedom as a human being, as a soul, a sentient soul, regardless of your skin color. And I understand there's been an issue of the black thing, but man, what the politics which are involved in it, and now when you understand it, this isn't good. It's not good for them. Not good for us.
But let's be honest, it's not just about a movement, is it?
No.
If you understand the politics behind it, it has tentacles in so many other things. This is why they create order out of chaos, right? Mm. At the minute, there's observers on the internet filming the buses that are coming into British ports, chock-packed with immigrants, I'm going to say, under the asylum umbrella, right?
Yeah.
Not allowed to film them. If you try, you get the fisticuff from the guys in the black, look like they're soldiers from a Sylvester Stallone futuristic movie or whatever, right? Basically brainwashed young men that think that they're doing the right thing because, like I did and you did when we joined the military, we thought it was all about good guys and bad guys, right? So it's not about them, but what we need to look at why is this there's this mass hammering of our culture. Why are we not allowed to have an identity anymore? What is it about? Well, when you don't have an identity, you don't have power, because it becomes much more about the individual. When you get locked into the home cocoon and your only contact with the outside world is through a keyboard or a touchpad, and Amazon are flying your new sofa in with a drone and putting it in the garden, and Tesco have got some shuttle service that fires your food at you in 3 seconds. You don't actually have to speak to someone in the shop and say, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the eggs are, please?" Or, "Hello, my love, can I just tap my card?" All that's gone. You're a muppet in your house with no outside contact, right? There's no way you're going to bandy with a neighbor and go, "All right, Sid, I'm a bit unhappy about this thing in the community." All that's gone, because you can't go out to neighbor because you might catch something. let's not go there, but everybody knows, you know, what's happening. There's no money anymore. It's all digital, right? So if you voice an opinion and it's not wanted by these controllers, your money supply switched off, you become an outcast. Not a lot you not unless you know all that Ray Mears shit, and you can go and, you know, make a fire out of rubbing two Boy Scouts together and make a gourmet meal out of a cow pat. You're going to be screwed, right?
I'm going to have to bid you adieu, young man. I've got my lovely lady who wants me to do something, so I must. I just want to say thank you very much for. Actually, I can talk for another 5 minutes if you want to. Literally, just
don't let me get you in trouble. It's not my job. Yeah. So do you want to listen? How about we do a live session together? I try to do a Facebook, a YouTube live once a week, and it just lets the subscribers ask what they want.
Yeah,
they'll write in the chat their questions.
Great idea.
They might want to talk about celebrity, and of course, I know you're fine with that.
Yeah, sure. But, there's loads of stuff we haven't even covered. I've like all sorts of things. I just wanted to have a chat with you. I found you interesting, but that's why we chatted for so long. But what I'm also conscious of is to make it interesting for people, because what we're on 2 hours 20. But you've got your guy to edit it, haven't you? So
but we don't edit content out, mate. The only thing we edit are stuff that will get us in trouble with the platforms that we will put this video on. You know, they all have their different rules, and this is it. This is
sure.
Yeah, I don't want to keep saying.
Listen, well, I'm happy with everything that's been said. So it's not. I'm not really. It's nothing. But yeah, I'm up for doing that. That'd be wonderful. Let's do that.
I've actually got a box set of Strictly. I'm just going to go and watch that now, and then I'm going to top it off with Celebrity Big Brother.
So listen, if I get on Strictly Come Dance With Me, you are going to be watching it.
Mate, you said about, do we compromise ourselves? All media is good media, or whatever it is, and this is hopefully people understand that a bit more now, and it's all about selling your brand, isn't it? But
I mean, obviously, no. It's also all about making a pound note as
well. That's my £500, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, if I got Strictly Come Dancing, I wouldn't say no. And also, it's something I think I might actually quite enjoy it. I don't even watch the show. Because dancing's fun. It's a challenge. But then I'm not watching it. Do you know what? I've only watched 2 episodes of The Big Brother. 3 episodes. The first one in the middle, and the very last one. I've got them all at home somewhere. I need to watch them. Isn't that funny?
No, not funny at all. I don't watch myself at all in the media. I've been on stuff. People tell me, and I'm like, yeah, I haven't watched. Sorry, I'm.
You need to watch it though, because you need to see, as a responsible. If this is your business, you need to right, what's working, what's not working.
Yeah, but I don't want to see that because I've got to live with the consequences.
Well, I've had so much of that. I've had so many painful lessons. I'm like, oh, why did I say that? Jesus. It's like, it's oversharing.
Well, that's a part of your endearing honesty, mate. Can I just say, as a final, when I talk about Strictly and that, I'm talking from a structural perspective. As it's fine to chill out, and I've got friends, right, that have been on Strictly. In fact, I think one of my friends won it, right? Wow. And it's not a criticism of the program, the people, people that just want to chill out, put their feet up with their evening meal and watch some crap on. It's not about that. What I'm saying is, we got people watching Strictly that haven't even read this, and yet they're commenting on what's going on at the moment.
Yeah.
if I can paraphrase Greta Thunberg, if that's her name, how dare you, go and watch your Strictly, cool, but teach your children what's going on in the world first. Have some self-respect for you as a person, for your kids, for their future. Have some respect for humanity. If you've got your watch Strictly, and when it's not on, you flick it over to the Sky News, and that plays all day long in the, we're fucked. We are seriously fucked, and it's because of you, and I'm being serious. So please, just if you go, Chris, how do I start? Do what I did. I read that. Okay, I read that. So once I read that, then when I seen what my television, as Alex very well puts it, my tell lies vision was telling me about what happened in New York 20 years ago. Because I read that, then I knew I was being lied to, right? And it's a little bit of the jigsaw about working out what life is all about and where you are in it. And I don't care for me. Seriously, if I just lived on my own, I'd probably quite happily drink myself to death, buy a load of drugs or on the dark web and be a slob. I don't really care, or go traveling or go running or do all these things that I've done but when you have a child, it ain't about you anymore. It's about them.
Yeah.
It's about their future. It's about caring. And if you genuinely care for the young people and where this planet is going, you've got to educate yourself. So I only use the Strictly thing as like just a silly example. It's I don't want to get sued by, I don't even know, is it BBC Channel 4? I got no idea. Anyway, enough about that. Alex, massive love to you, mate, and all your family and your friends. What a wonderful chat.
Thank you, kind sir. Let's do a live. Tell me when. If anyone wants to follow me, alexreidofficial on Instagram, at alexreid on Twitter, and Alexander Reid on Facebook.
Good.
And if anyone's interested and has problems with seeing their child and wants help in the family courts, I have the Bob Reid Foundation, www.bobreidfoundation.com. I wish I had this when I started my journey 8 years ago. I would have saved a lot of money and heartache. So I love you all. I look forward to doing this again maybe one day. Hasta la vista, young man.
Yeah, Alex, we'll see you in the live. To our friends at home, huge love to you all. Respect each other. If you can like and subscribe and do all that kind of stuff, great. See you on my Patreon, perhaps. That's it. Enough said. I'm out. Bye, Alex.
Adios, amigos.
Speak to you soon, mate. Hello, friend. I hope this finds you well. My name's christhrall. I'm a former Royal Marines Commando, and I fought my way back from chronic trauma and addiction to live, work and travel in 80 countries across all 7 continents, achieving all of my dreams and goals along the way. Now I pass my simple system on to other people, but I can only help you if you like and subscribe. So please do so, because you get one life, and if you live it right, one is enough.